What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the YouTube show that has no show. My name is John Marks. Joining us tonight is one of my favorite guys in the world. Haven't talked to him since I left WIP, now over a month ago. Well, I've talked to him, but I just haven't talked to him on the air. Black Gritty joins us from blackgritty.com. Black Gritty.
Johnny Marks, I miss you, buddy.
What's going on, man?
Just so you know, you're on the family or TV. You know, I got family pictures to pop up on all my Google TVs, and you and I pop up.
Well, listen, you have a beautiful setup. I know you're doing a lot of video stuff and podcast stuff these days. And if you look at your setup, you're very professional. I love the I love the look of the microphone and seeing the microphone and seeing how it's set up and whatever you got going on in the background. It's beautiful. I have a gray wall. I need a lot of work and a lot of help here, Gritty.
I mean, I got extra lights. You don't want to come over and set you up? I can hook you up. You know, it's funny. I laugh because I watch people like Slay. I'm like, man, because somebody just give me his number. I'll go hook his setup up. Like I'm a regular person and my setup looks better than his. It kills me inside when I watch some of these professional athletes with a bad setup. Micah Parsons had somebody come in and do his professionally, but
sure,
some of the other guys are killing me.
Yeah, if you're making a couple $1 million a year, you can spend a couple grand to get a setup and a backdrop. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm unemployed, so the backdrop for me. Now I ordered a green screen, Gritty.
Okay.
Do you recommend a green screen? Because I was talking to Harry Mays the other day, and he said, "Don't do a green screen. It's weird. Just like set something up and get some lights, but set something up behind you."
So a green screen is funny because it puts that halo on you and it edges you weird. Like I would just get a backdrop, like same thing like a green screen, but like when you go like to watch the Sixers interview or something like that, and it just says like
I actually just ordered. My wife's 40th birthday is on Saturday, and we're having a party, and I ordered a backdrop for her, but I also got it's a 10x10 setup to where you hook up the frame and then you can put the backdrop behind it so that you can take pictures. So I was gonna use it for that, but if you're telling me I should just have a backdrop and not a green screen, I'm going to return it. Yeah. It's Amazon. I can just take it right to Kohl's and they'll take it back.
Yeah, return it. And then, get one that says John Marks Media, or, you know what I mean? We take flight or whatever you want to call it. And throw that up there on the wall.
What about John Marks the Spot?
There it is. John Marks the Spot.
John Marks the Spot? Is that the name? Because I don't know what to do with this because I wasn't even sure I was allowed to do this at first. I was just kind of trying to sneaky do some shows to be like, they're not shows. I'm just live streaming. But
I'll get you a little logo, then you can throw that on there and you'll be all set to go. You'll be a professional.
All right. Well, listen, we're both professionals, Gritty.
That's right.
As the 76ers.
You're a real professional.
Well, not anymore. You're doing more things than me. So 76ers game just ended. A lot of people tuning in because we've been promoting that we were going to come on after the game. It's one of these, it's not even February yet. And this was after they scored 70 points, an emotional win at home, and to go on the road. Pacers scored 70 points in the first half, and Sixers battled late to try to get it within single digits. They just couldn't do it. So it's really hard to get worked up in this game right here. But still, 134 to 122, 76ers 6-game winning streak snapped. But Embiid scored 30 again, Black Gritty.
He did. Kept the streak alive for that. And to be fair, I don't know what's going on with the schedule makers. We've already played the Celtics 3 times. We played the Pacers 3 times. It's not even through half of the year yet. We're not going to see them again for the rest of the year. And we were a bad matchup for them because they play fast and they like to score a lot anyway. So like you said, coming off the emotional win and then coming into a game like this, a lot of guys rested and did sit. But it's annoying because it's like, man, this will be a premier matchup later on in the year.
Now, in the playoffs, it's a better matchup for the Sixers because, like you said, they like to play fast, right? Like, it's not as much of a half-court game as you may see in the playoffs. I don't know. I saw the video you put out the other day, and I really agree with it. And I maybe out of emotion before I've been, trade Joel Embiid, you're never going to win with him. But nobody in their right mind is trading Joel Embiid right now while he's in his prime, while he's playing like this. I get it. I get frustrated with him in the playoffs every year. I get frustrated with his behavior like I did last year when he was being weird at the press conference. But this dude's one of the best athletes this city's ever seen, one of the best players this city's ever seen. And you have to enjoy it, right? Like he's making 76ers basketball in January. Must see TV. I mean, I'm tuning in tonight to see what he's going to do next. So you got to try to enjoy it. I know it's about winning a championship, BG, but you got to enjoy how special this guy is because he's special, man.
And so you said it in the video I made because it kills me because like Maxey has a 50-point game and I'm just trying to enjoy the moment of the game. And the first comments I get is, don't make anything until they get to that second round. I'm like, I understand all of that. But today, Maxey scored 50. Today, Joel Embiid scored 70. And for the first time in the quote unquote process history, we have a coach that I believe in. And you know, I'm always getting on coaches.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in coaching helps win you games and championships. And this is the first time we have a real coach. So just watch the game and enjoy it. And my whole thing is like, everybody talks about Allen Iverson. He did not win a championship.
No.
So you're going to tell me you're going to miss out on all the amazing things that he did because he didn't win us a ring? Like, Joel is still young and he's being unlocked by Nick Nurse finally. And it's just, and you know me too. I've complained. Somebody came and said, "Oh, you made a video." I was like, "Yeah, when they lose in the game 7, I'm going to talk trash on them. But when you come out on a 70-point night, I have to celebrate that. Celebrate it." What's Doc Rivers? Celebrate him.
Celebrate
everything he does.
I mean, don't we ultimately, like you said, we react accordingly when things happen. We do it with all the sports, but don't we watch sports so we can enjoy it? I know that like sometimes it's fun not to have fun. Like with the Eagles, when the Eagles suck, it's kind of fun to shit on Howie and to make fun of Sirianni. It's kind of fun. It's like how it's how you recover from the season. Like ultimately, you want to see your player score 70 points. And let me say this: I saw Elliot put out a tweet.
The voting, who's the best player in the city?
Yeah, and then B was like not 86% or 90%. It's like holy crap! Like
prisoner of the moment. At least some people out there just enjoying the moment. Because
but I like it.
If you poll that in 2 months, it might be back to Bryce. But yeah, I like it too.
This is the first time I'm getting spammed on the chat board here. So if you don't not familiar with what it is, BG and I were on StreamYard, which enables people to comment. Right. So I guess is it on YouTube or is it any of the platforms?
It's on YouTube and Twitter can comment.
So Twitter can comment too. And I think I'm on Instagram Live, but I don't entirely know because you have to do this weird thing to get it on Instagram Live at the same time. But anyway, so people comment and this person just blasted in that was clearly some type of a spam bot and started putting all the stuff up there. But yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying the hell out of the season, and Embiid is doing things that we've never seen. Have we ever seen any athlete
like
this?
I argue with my friends all the time, and all they care about is that I tell them that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain are the greatest players that ever played. My dad and my uncle were ball boys for them. My uncle used to drive Wilt Chamberlain home after games. He would take him to the train station or drive him all the way up to New York. And I was raised on hearing stories that these dudes could do anything on the basketball court that they wanted. And when there's a reason why, like when you watch Jordan stats, they would always say asterisk after 1979. And my dad and my uncle were like, see, that's because of Wilt Chamberlain. Like they do that because Wilt has all these outrageous numbers that nobody can attain.
Right.
And now every other night, it's like Embiid is hitting those numbers. So if you're not watching this in 20 years, you're not going to be able to tell your children about the Wilt Chamberlain big men of basketball. Shaq wasn't even doing these things. Shaq couldn't hit his free throws. If Shaq could hit his free throws, he could be touching some of these numbers, but he never could like Joel can. He's threes, free throws, feathery touch. Like he's got a touch like Kevin Durant, and you're missing it. And I know about the playoffs, but my gosh, this guy, everybody wants to call everybody a unicorn. He is the unicorn right now. He is the unicorn. It's beautiful to watch.
And he makes it look so easy for a guy that's 7'2", and he can dribble drive. He can take a rebound. And if he wants to, he can dribble it down the court. Like you said, the shooting touch that he has. And I always hated Paul Pierce, but I always respected his game because he was trying to get to the foul line and he would hit free throws one after the other after another. I mean, without that, his game's much different.
Yeah.
And Embiid has it all. He gets to the foul line. He's almost impossible not to foul because he's so damn big and dominant.
And he's not falling here a lot. He's not flopping all over the place. He's staying upright.
And I contend Shaq is the most dominant player I've ever seen as far as being unstoppable. But like you 100%. Said, he was limited in his game. He developed that little hook, baby hook. He had a couple of low post moves. But for the most part, he was dunking on you. And Hack-a-Shaq became a real thing. They used it with Ben in his last couple months with the 76ers. But I mean, it really was. And Embiid is almost as dominant as Shaq, but just in different ways. Certainly more skilled. I've never he's a true unicorn. You don't see a guy like this with this kind of skill.
For his 70th point, he went coast to coast and did like a Euro step finger roll. That's for a 7th. And on top of that, he had 5 assists. One of those assists was a behind the back pass to low post to Oubre. The other one, he came from the top of the key, dribbled between his legs and spinned and then kicked it out to Maxey. Like, he's 7'30" and he's making moves like that. His handle has improved. He's not dribbling low anymore. He's at his waist and he's more upright and always moving forward with his dribble. So he's not losing his handles. Like, he's evolving every year. The Ben Simmons mixtapes that we got every summer where, you know, we thought he was going to add something to his game that we never got. Joel never puts out a mixtape, but every single year he has gotten better.
He sure has. It's he had one turn. It's 70 points, 18 rebounds, and 1 turnover the other night, which is amazing.
2 blocks, 1 steal.
So it changes when it gets to the playoffs, and that's why you had said it early on in our discussion here that Nick Nurse gives you now a reason to believe that this guy is going to get them, because this is all mental. What happens to the 76ers and Joel Embiid in the playoffs is mental. It's mental in 2 ways. A, it's about who's the tougher team and who is going to get up from that shot. And the 76ers haven't gotten up from it. They've laid down, not laid down, but they just haven't had it. Mentally, they haven't had it. And I think that goes back to the coach. I think that went to Doc Rivers. I know how you felt about Brett Brown and Doc Rivers. Nick Nurse feels like even if it's going to be for the next 2 or 3 years and then guys kind of tune them out, who cares? He's going to get them going defensively. So they need to get going defensively in the playoffs and just want it more than any other team. And then Embiid's got to get over this mental block, whatever happens to him in the playoffs. They got to get over it. I mean, it's the only way they're going to win.
So if you're not watching the 76ers, just watch 3 games. And you don't have to watch whole games. Maybe you're mad. Tune in the middle of the second quarter and watch till the fourth quarter. You can turn it off. The Sixers now, when they have a lead at halftime, in the third quarter, they extend that lead by 10 and don't lose the lead. Right. And then rest Joel in the fourth quarter. That's the difference. Brett Brown used to have all world first halves of games. We'd be up 10-15, and then something would happen in the first 5 minutes of the third quarter. We're down. Same thing with Glenn Rivers. We'd be up at half, third quarter. I turn around like, what happened? Like, how do you lose the leads? Nick Nurse understands that you press and you extend leads so that you can rest and you wear teams down. He doesn't have a goofy, weird rotation. He comes back with his starting 5 and extends the lead. So if you're mad and you're not watching them, just watch that part of it. And you'll see instantly that's one thing that's just different about the team. They're extending leads in the third quarter, not losing them.
Yeah, it's a great point. You don't. I mean, it felt like almost on a regular basis under Doc Rivers and Brett Brown, you're holding your breath in the fourth quarter. You're saying, how are they gonna screw this up? Like you're watching the lead shrink before your eyes, and you can almost see it happening in slow motion. And like Doc had no answer for it. Didn't know when to take a timeout. Didn't know when to put his starters back in. Oh my God, it was frustrating.
You gotta
and by the way,
guys, if you want it, you gotta go get it, guys. It's for you if you want it. Like, what is that?
Not a bad Doc.
What does that mean?
Well, and shout out to Doc. Scams another team. They're and aren't they in first place? Isn't Milwaukee one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference? They fired their coach.
30-13. And I just want to say this about that. Giannis Antetokounmpo is one of the fun, happiest guys in the league, right? Generally, people love him. He got this coach fired. And then when it got leaked that he got him fired, he came out and did the press conference. I love him. Why would I do that? I had him to my wedding. He's my guy. I love him. Well, you are a megastar. You wanted Dame. You got Dame. You want this coach fired. You're getting this coach fired. And Glenn Rivers being an assistant, kind of like Patricia, assistant to the team, you're the one that got this guy out. And for what reason? You're 30-13. Maybe because he didn't want to have your brothers on the team and he wanted to make some moves to make the bench extend. If you really want to win a championship, put your 3 brothers under your umbrella and payroll and open up an ice cream stand and bring in some ancillary players off the bench for your team. If you cared about winning, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Oh my God. Well, I just love the fact that Doc, according to Shams, and I will reserve whether or not this is actually correct. So a lot of times these agents leak bogus
Yeah.
numbers out there just to inflate it. But he said, so it's the rest of this year and then 3 years after this,
Wow.
$40 million range is what Shams said today on FanDuel TV. $40 million. Like, come on, Doc, you're in your 60s, bro. Like, really, you need to come back. Gritty, he loves the lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
They fly first class or charter. They stay in 5-star hotels. He golfs when he goes to nice places or whatever. He probably just loves the lifestyle of being an NBA coach, making a ton of money, dining in 5-star restaurants wherever the hell he wants to. It's a good life to live.
I wish that I had the ability, the balls, and the fortitude to con people out of money like this man does. He is a perpetual loser. Kevin Garnett saved him, got him one championship. He underperformed with that team. Before they made that trade, he had a losing record with the Celtics. And so, I mean, how does this guy keep failing up? My biggest thing about him is that before he came to us, I said, you had so much talent in LA and you couldn't win. You leave 1 year, Ty Lue takes them to their first Western Conference Finals with Kawhi hurt and Paul George hurt. How is that possible? How is that possible? Coaching, a scheme, a system, calling timeouts, running plays, regular things that head coaches should be able to do, but not Doc, man. But he has got to have a silver fork tongue, dude. I don't know how he keeps getting these jobs.
All right. So I should have done this in the beginning of the program, Black Gritty. But for people that we're recording this on a Thursday night after the 76ers game, but a lot of people I've noticed as I put out the videos, they go back and they'll watch the videos whenever. They'll be like, oh, Johnny Marks doing, he had Herb from Northeast Philly on. That was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, right? So normally the format, what I like to do is, depending on when I come in, is kind of talk about the relevant sports topics. And in this case, the 76ers just played early on in the show. And then so if it's like, oh, well, this was 2 weeks ago, just skip like 10, 15, 20 minutes into it. And we talk about other stuff that isn't as time sensitive. All right. And we will talk about the Eagles and whatever that press conference was yesterday. And I'm happy that I didn't have to deal with the aftermath of it. Does that make sense? Because some people would say, like, don't you live for that? And honestly, like after this year, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with it. And I could just hopefully start next year with the Eagles.
So I do my podcast and I make like TikTok video reels, stuff like that. It's why I only do a show once a week because it does wear on you. It's so annoying when you're just waiting 5 days. And if you're doing a radio for 5 days, you got to talk about who's the coach going to be. Is the coach going to get fired? Why did they fire the coach? Who did they fire the coach? And you're just basically ramping up annoyance and anger throughout the week when things are bad. When things are good, it's kind of okay because you can float about multiple different things. But the annoyance when something's bad, I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't sit there for 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, sometimes on Saturday, and just beat my head against the wall waiting for someone else to do something that's most likely going to annoy me. That's the other part about it. Like there's no rainbow at the other end. It might be a cliff that you have to jump off and deal with also. So, you guys do yeoman's work. It's a hard job to do day in and day out. So I fully understand the annoyance, the stress, and the fun, but
it's a lot of fun. Yes.
Yeah.
Not a lot of stress, a lot of fun. But like you said,
sports stress, like the sports stress of just like, what are we doing?
God.
I can't do anything. I'm waiting. Stop making me wait.
Yeah. All right. So we'll dig a little deeper into this press conference, and I have a number of other things I need advice or we need to talk about with Black Gritty. But this podcast is now sponsored by ShopEveryLittleDetail.com. That's my wife's website, so she's not paying me for the ad.
Well, I mean, she makes cool stuff, so
she makes very cool stuff. So check out the website, ShopEveryLittleDetail.com. She'll make something custom made. She has a bunch of there's sports apparel on there coming up for Valentine's Day. If you're looking for something for your wife or for your kids or whatever, just check it out. ShopEveryLittleDetail.com. Also, someone pointed out to me, she may or may not have a Mets shirt up there. Ooh. So she made something. My daughter's teacher is from New York. So she's a Mets fan. She still roots for the Phillies and everything else, but like she grew up a Mets fan. Her dad was a Mets fan. She grew up a Mets fan. So she made something for the teacher that was Mets stuff, right? So of course someone sees that and says, "Yo, like why is there Mets stuff up there?" And I just gave her the feedback, and she's like, "Yeah, but it's for the teacher." And I'm like, "Yeah, but like I told you, if you're gonna put Mets stuff up there, people they don't want an explanation of what's going on. They just see Mets stuff up there, especially Mets stuff. It just makes you mad."
It's funny too because like there's like 4 teams. Like when I football, I love football. I have multiple jerseys. I have Peyton Manning. I have Ray Lewis. Nothing inside the conference though. I don't mess with Cowboys, the Commanders, the Giants. Like other great players you can kind of get away with. There's certain teams like the Mets that no matter what the reason is, it can be like it's for my sister's cousin's puppy.
It's
that
never
was born.
okay.
It's never okay.
It's never
so
okay.
You got to hide that on the down low or give a detailed explanation in the description before she even describes what it is that she's got going on there.
Like, let's say like made for my daughter's teacher who is from New York.
Yes.
I'm a Phillies fan. No, you're right. That's what I said to her. I said you should have fun in the description. Sorry, Phillies fans. This was made for my daughter's teacher who's from New York.
I wish. So this is for you. If your wife should be watching. She is sponsoring the show now. So we need to have her paying attention because when you're a sponsor, you need to find out what's going on.
Right.
You can do this. I only have one kid, but you should have her do like a candy heart, like for Valentine's Day, and then put thing 1, thing 2, and thing 3 for Valentine's Day for your girls. How cute would that be?
Wow.
It would be amazing.
It's a great idea.
It is a great idea. That was free. That thing would sell like hotcakes. I only have one kid. It wouldn't be funny to have a thing 1. Everybody like, where's the other thing? Oh, if I got myself thing 2, she wouldn't go outside that house with me now. She wouldn't let me leave wearing it. But that'd be cool.
All right. So before we get to the Eagle stuff, I got to tell you what happened to me today. Right. So I'm extremely cheap, especially now being not totally unemployed. I have a couple things, but I'm frugal regardless. I'm always frugal regardless. Right. So like, I'm the one that when it's like, well, my wife never like, we'll go to the grocery store and buy stuff. And then she wants to order out because we don't have anything to eat. I'm like, I went to the grocery store yesterday. We don't have anything to eat. So like today, she has pneumonia, by the way. Oh. She's sick. So she's like, I'm really hungry. I need to eat something. I'm like, well, order a burger and I'll go pick it up. You know what I mean? So she ordered a burger. I'm not even going to say the place because I don't want to kill the place. But so she orders a burger, brings it home. And I'm gonna bring it up I've learned how to share the screen here. Grady. So she brings it home. She takes a bite or two, and then all of a sudden she's like gagging. And I'm like, all right, well, like, what's going on over there? And I come over, and you can see it, Gritty. That's a bug on her lettuce.
Oh no.
So she's trying not to do a lot of bread and carbs. She's doing the lettuce wraps. That's what it looked like right there. And I don't know if there was any other bugs in there. I don't know if she ate any other bugs. I've seen bugs on lettuce. Like when I buy romaine at the grocery store, you bring them home. Sometimes you'll have some that have bugs on
Wash your vegetables, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Yeah, because they're on there. Yeah, if you're buying romaine, not the bagged salad stuff, but if you're buying romaine, like you absolutely need to watch it.
It's horrible when that happens, but there are no that's happened. But it's terrible when it happens to you. And she already wasn't feeling well, so that was just that was a triple downer for her today.
So what do you do? Right, that's the question. What do you do? And I was set to go back there and just not get her another burger from there, but get another I'm like order from this place and I'll pick it up. I just want my money back. You know what I mean? Like I'm grossed out.
Yeah,
and I didn't even get anything from there. So it's just like, no, just call. Just like call, they'll refund you or whatever. So you don't have to drive all the way over there. I'll find something here. Like, all right, whatever. So I noticed that. So I'm gonna put this up to the screen. If you like, I Googled my barber, the Razor Bar in Collegeville. Yeah. And so if you Google it, right, see how it says book online there?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's not booking through the website. That's booking through like Google. So they do this with businesses. I guess they're asked to have the option, so they get their little cut. Maybe they get $1 out of it or something or whatever it is. So this is what she did with this burger place. So she didn't actually go through the website. She went through she Googled it, and then she thought she was ordering it through the place, and then she ordered.
Third party.
It's a third party, right? So I see the third party on the receipt. So I call and I say, I tell the guy like, he's like, all right, well, can I give you store credit or can I remake it for you? And I said, no, I would just like my money back. And he says, okay. And I'm like, but like, I want to give you the order number. It says it's through a third party. And he said, well, I can't refund you. And I said, all right, like, well, let me call you back. So there's no way to get a hold of anybody here. Nope. And it says on the receipt for any issues with the order to contact them directly. Call back. We can't give you a refund. I'm like, well, you're going to have to give me a refund. Like, because I can't contact these people. Well, we can only give you a store credit or whatever. So then he ends up getting aggressive with me and hangs up on me. Now, mind you, I didn't curse him out. I wasn't even raising my voice. Here's what I said, and tell me if I'm out of line for doing this, all right? I said, listen, you do business with this Google thing. So I'm not able to get a refund because they say go to you directly. I'm coming to you directly. I don't want store credit. I just want my money back. I guess I could have said, all right, I'll take store credit. I don't want store credit. I wanted my money back. All right. And this is when he got pissed. And he's like, sir, he's like, have you ever, he's like, you obviously haven't worked at a restaurant because these things happen. There's bugs in lettuce and foods. It happens. And I'm like, I actually have worked in restaurants and I know that it happens, but it doesn't make it right. And he said, well, we wash our lettuce twice before it goes out. And I said, you did not wash this lettuce twice. There's no way that bug stays there if you wash lettuce twice. Right. So what I said, if you're not going to refund my money or do something to make this right, the only thing I have left to do is go to Google reviews and Yelp reviews and give you poor reviews and share the pictures. Now, was I out of line for saying that? Because that's when this guy lost it and hung up on me when I said that.
You're not out of line for saying it. He lost it because that is so devastating to the business. And at the same time, if you would just, how much did the burger cost?
It was almost $15.
$15 is worth not getting that review. So don't get mad about the possible review because that review will lose you business. Putting up a picture with a bug on it will lose you business. It's worth the, hey, bud, come down $15. I've worked at places where things like that have happened, and I just take the money out of my pocket because I don't even feel like dealing with my boss about it because I know it's just going to cause more problems. It might cause more problems for me down the line. If I was working, I'd be like, yo, bro, come back up here, take this $15 because, again, that review is devastating. So don't get mad and get huffy and puffy. Just fix it.
But that's what I mean, that's kind of why I said it. I wasn't trying to be a dick. I was really saying, like, here's what I'm going to do next. Like, I'm telling you what I'm going to do next.
Yeah,
make it right. You know, if he would have said, hey, I'll give you a $40 credit. Then I'm going to say, you know what? Then I can order like lunch or dinner for everybody. And like, all right, fine. Like, that's worth it. But otherwise, like, hey, listen, I didn't have I didn't have the lettuce with the fucking bug on it. I didn't do this. Now you're telling me I can't get my money back and there's nobody I can contact about this. And they say I got to deal directly with you and you're being a dick. This guy was such a dick. And then he hung up on me. Like literally when I said that what I'm going to have to do next is this, because I was asking him like, all right, well, what's your name? And he's like, I'm the general manager here. And he's probably like 25 years old.
If he's general manager, it's even worse. But the point of it is like, dude, it's a Thursday too. It's not like you called him Friday night or Saturday night in prime rush time or whatever.
12:45. There was nobody in that restaurant when I went in there
Thursday. Like, take care of it. Just handle it.
Yep. But he got really upset.
Well, you're nice enough you didn't bash him on the video, but I go ahead and post that picture on the Google reviews and knock yourself out.
Well, so Jersey Girl says, and this is exactly what I'm going to do because I've done it before. You just I'll call TD Bank and be like, hey, this is what happened. I had a hamburger with a bug in it and I can't get anybody to refund it. So I want my money back and they'll take it off. You know what happened one time down at the Jersey Shore? I had a stroller with my youngest daughter in it. And I literally went up to where and this was off the boardwalk. Went to play miniature golf. It was off the boardwalk. But I had the stroller. So we go up and it's like this bigger, like outdoor place that has waterfalls and stuff. So I'm like, like 4 or whatever. I have this big ass stroller that they like literally, I mean, it wasn't a high counter. It's just a low counter. I have this big ass stroller. So we're like, all right, thanks. We spent like $60 for 4 people to go miniature golfing. You know what I mean? Like you're paying a ton of money too.
It's not cheap.
No. And then our families are like my brother-in-law's there, his kid, my sister-in-law, their kids. So all told, like 12 of us just paid to play miniature golf. And we take to the first hole, and then it's like, well, how are we going to get around with these strollers? And we had young kids.
Yeah.
And it wasn't accessible. So it's like if you were in a wheelchair or if you have a stroller, it's not accessible. So I go up and I'm like, hey, like we can't do it. We have all of us had stroller, or two of us had strollers. They wouldn't give us our money back. So then I'm like, all right, like who's the manager? And I'm dealing with like some 17-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, like who can I call? Like who can I talk to? And they're like, nobody. They're literally like, there's nobody you can talk to. And I'm like, all right. And like, well, when can I call back? They're like, you can't, like, there's nobody to talk to. I was like, all right, whatever. And I just disputed it with the bank and they took it right off. So there you go.
It happens all the time. It's the thing that cracks me up the most is like when it's a small business like that, like, dude, you could just handle this. Like, just take care of it. You know what I mean? If it was like some mega chain or whatever, they want to hang up on you because there's a million targets. Okay, I get it. Like you're an infinite person. But like when it's one-on-one, like you're just losing business locally. You know how many my friends are going to tell not to come eat a burger here because I had a bug in it? Like,
well, like you had said, one review with a bug in the burger, it's going to cost them like $15. You're talking about one person sees that and says, "I'll never order from there."
Yeah, yeah. And it like I said, just fix it. It's $15. I don't care if it's $50. So I'll tell you a fun story. I took my family out to Red Lobster. We used to always take my grandmother out there because she likes the biscuits. So I took my dad, my two sisters, my two brothers, my fake mom, my grandmom, and my fake mom's daughter out. So it was like 11 of us. Now I order Red Lobster. I've been eating there since I was a kid with my grandma. I order the same thing every time. Shrimp Alfredo, extra shrimp, extra sauce on the side. Everybody's order came out was right. My order was wrong. He brought out something with red sauce and whatever in it. And I said, "Oh, excuse me, this might be somebody else's because I ordered shrimp Alfredo." And he looked at me and said, "No, you didn't." And when I tell you it was like a movie, it was audible. You could hear everybody put their forks and knives down. The whole table was just like, oh, here we go. Because not only do I order the same thing, I had brought everybody out and I was paying for a family dinner. It was like when I first started working for myself and I got a big contract. And I'm like, hey, I'm not going to talk about Dos Santos or anything, but I'm like, let's go to Red Lobster. This bill's about to be $500-600. And this guy looks at me and says, you didn't order that. And I looked up to start talking to him and my dad put his hand on my shoulder. It was like, my son orders the exact same thing. He's never eaten anything else. He wouldn't ask for anything else. You could ask anybody at this table what his order is, and that's going to be his order. And so the guy like had an attitude and left. And also the thing that happens to me when my food is bad, I don't eat the food because I'm annoyed. So everybody had to sit there and eat their food and watch me not eat my food. The manager came over and was like, "Oh, we're going to comp your meal or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, that's fine. I was paying for it." I'm like, "I'm not going to tip him though." And he's like, "Well, you have to tip him." And I said, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, it's a large party. You have to." I was like, "Well, if he didn't have an attitude with me, the person that's paying the bill, maybe I'd feel different about it. But I'm paying the bill. He gave me an attitude. I'm going to pay this bill, but I'm not tipping him." And the guy just came back out 10 minutes later and comped the whole meal. And I didn't tip him. So a $550 check, he didn't get $1 out of me. And it was literally because the way I was looking at him, I was like, "Yo, I will square up out here over some shrimp Alfredo." Like, what are we doing? Like you're coming at me. I'm the type of guy, because I'm overweight. Whenever I go to a restaurant, I always ask for a manager. I go out on dates and girls get so embarrassed. I ask for a manager every time. 90% of the time, everything's great. And I say, "Hey, John or Susan did a great job. I just want to let you know they did a great job." And everybody's like, "Wow, nobody ever compliments their server and says thank you." My thought process is you could have a jerk one night who's having a bad day with his wife and then complains about you and you can get fired. So every time I go out for a meal, I always ask for a manager, and 90% of the time, it's always a positive thing to say. And I feel like that gives good gratitude towards them in case they do have a bad day or they do have a bad show, because everybody does. So I take the time to say, "Hey, thank you. I appreciate their service." But that day, boy, I was going to dispute that. They wasn't getting $1 out of me. It worked out anyway.
That's very nice of you, Black Gritty. All right, I also have I have something else here in a little bit. But what was your overall reaction to what you saw with Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni? If you were wondering what his duties were as the head coach of the Eagles last year, you're really going to be wondering what the duties of him being a head coach this year. I mean, really, he's going to be Dan Campbell, right? And Dan Campbell won this year, so now he's the toast of the NFL. He loses his offensive coordinator and he brings somebody in here that doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Dan Campbell may look like Nick Sirianni next year. Just look out. But, I mean, Nick Sirianni better get this right. Next year, they better hire the right offensive coordinator. It's just amazing you have an offensive head coach, a guy that actually wanted to come here and call plays, and now they're not even going to use his offense. Now he's just going to kind of be there waving pom-poms. But it was a weird press conference yesterday, man.
So Nick Sirianni, that's his name now because I always put the pom-poms up. So he is now Nick Sirianni. Cheer it on, clap it up. But the Dan Campbell comparison, Dan Campbell has been the exact same win or lose. Their first 2 seasons, he came out and they were kneecap biting and he was going for the gusto. He's shooting from the hip. They were losing games by 2 and 3 points all throughout the year last year. And he kept saying, hey, look, we're close. I believe in you players. I will lose a game believing in you. Making mistakes late in games, but at least he kept true to himself, even to his detriment this year. You're playing against the Cowboys, and you're like, I believe in you guys. And by me believing in you, that's what's going to get us over the hump. And so far, it's got him over the hump. They're going to lose this weekend, but he kept to his guns. Nick Sirianni is great when things are flying high and you're flubbering and you can't explain yourself. My thing is, if you can't express yourself in a press conference that you were prepared for with PR people, Howie Roseman, and the ownership, and you had 3 weeks to prepare, you don't have answers to questions, how can you lead men? How can you speak to people directly? How can you communicate to them what you need to get done? So yeah, you're going to be a janitor next year. And if the offense takes off, they're going to get rid of you and give it to the offensive coordinator. If they're terrible, they're going to fire you and embarrass you, and you're never going to get another job. You're lucky to get this job. And Howie Roseman is to blame because he hires puppets. And if you ever said one time in your life, he doesn't do that, you have no evidence of that. Well, now we do. Doug Peterson didn't want to stand there and be a puppet, so they let him go. You know they gave Nick the same thing. You want to be a puppet or are you going to go? And he said, I am so thankful for this job. Please and thank you. I will puppet. And that's what we got right now.
Yeah. No, you're right. He's not getting a job again. If they come out next year and they fall apart, or I don't even know, man. I don't even know. I don't know. What is this team going to look like next year? What is Jalen Hurts going to look like next year?
Well,
right. Like what was up with Jalen Hurts last year?
If Jalen Hurts, I think money does change people. So I don't believe that he turned into a bad guy. I do believe that he gave his mindset of, oh, I'm not going out anymore. I'm worth too much money. I can't be out. Well, they weren't asking you to go out to the clubs like with Shady McCoy or Allen Iverson. They're asking you to go out to team dinners that the owner is paying for. They're asking you to go out to team fun events like safe rooms and ballroom dancing or kung fu fighting. Like, they're not asking you to go out and strip and dip on the weekends with Harden and fly to Vegas. So the fact that he didn't go do those things with his team is a problem. But I still believe that the guy that I saw in college that cheered on his teammate who took his spot and went to another school and tried to lead them and came here and helped the team come together behind Carson Wentz falling apart, he can't be that far off from that guy. So I believe in Jalen Hurts. I assume he was injured and had to deal with clown show screens being called every 3 seconds, and he's going to get back to form. What we really got to focus on is Howie Roseman and the Georgia Bulldogs he's going to draft this year, because my goodness.
Yeah, who's on the mock draft? Gritty, you should do a mock draft just of Georgia Bulldogs for the Eagles.
Well, this year he's going to draft 9 people from Michigan. So, you go to the champion, right. You go to the champion, and you're going to be like some Scooby McDoo guy that I've never heard of. Like, oh, he's from Michigan. Oh, yeah, we love him. The national champion.
So the thing that, and I was saying this the last time I was on with Harry Mays, that it feels like if I was Jeffrey Lurie, I would probably have kept Nick Sirianni and not fired him, because he did start the season 10-1, because they were in the Super Bowl last year. But you think Jeffrey Lurie thinks that this is going to work out with Nick Sirianni, or you think that he's waiting for the hammer to drop after he comes out and screws it up again? I don't think he's going to fix this. I don't think he's capable of fixing it. This feels like it's doomed.
And even if it's fixed, you're still left with the problem of, I don't think it's Nick. So if you bring an offensive coordinator in here and things turn around magically, you know what's going to happen? Somebody's going to want to hire him. Tampa Bay had 1 year with their offensive coordinator, and he fixed Baker Mayfield, and now he's got a head coaching job.
Look at Steichen. Steichen took a couple years of being here.
And so now Jeffrey Lurie's going to be stuck in the same. I think Jeffrey Lurie, honest to God, because we always speculate on rich people. I think the guy, everybody was mad he went down and got a yacht. Hey, haven't you had a bad day and went out and bought a PlayStation 5 or a video game or some ice cream for your kids because you had a bad day? When you're rich, the ice cream is a yacht or a PS5 is a yacht. So don't be mad that the guy went down. He was upset. He needed a toy. You know what I mean? He needed to buy something to make himself feel good. But I think he went down there and was like, oh, wow. Jerry Jones kept his guy. I can't get rid of a guy who just took me to a Super Bowl. Now I look like someone who's not loyal and who wants to come and play. Right. So that's really what it came down to. Because if they would have got rid of McCarthy after 3 12-win seasons and going out like they would have, it would have been like, hey, this is the new regime. If you don't get the job done, we're getting rid of you. But by Jerry Jones keeping him with his only 1 year left on his deal, and he's never been to a Super Bowl, why are you keeping him? You give Nick the option. Again, if you accept our terms, you can stay. And he did, unlike Doug. Doug's like, look, I ain't nobody's punk. I go.
Yep. No, you're right. No. Doug was burnt out. He wanted out.
Yeah.
I don't think Doug wanted. He was tired of Howie. He didn't want to be here anymore. And Sirianni doesn't. He doesn't want to be. He doesn't want out. He's going to ride this gravy train as long as he can.
So what happened to all the T-shirts, Johnny Marks? What happened to the Wilt Chamberlain 100 T-shirts and the Allen Iverson and the Scooby-Doo van T-shirts and all the? Where did it all go, Nick?
You remember when he was MFing the Chiefs fan or whatever he said to the Chiefs fan when he was leaving the field? Everybody loved it, right? Not everybody, but a lot of people loved it. And this is what I said at the time. They're winning. You wait till they stop winning. No one's going to like that crap. Period. No one's going to like it. They were winning. They were 10-1. Same with Jalen, right? Like Jalen was doing it all year where he's being this kind of different reclusive guy that is so focused. When they're 10-1, it's, oh, he's so focused. He's unbelievable. Yeah. He's Kobe. He's Jordan. Then when they start losing games, oh, he didn't talk to anybody. He's not approachable and all this other shit. Both things can be right. When you're winning games, everything's great. Yeah. And like when you start losing, now there's gotta be problems.
And he has the right to be frustrated about it too, because again, in that Super Bowl, when Nick's laughing and pointing at the Chiefs and your quarterback has to put your hands down and be like, come on, dude, like we're trying to do something important here. It sets a different kind of tone. So when Jalen comes back and he's got the lock screen with the confetti on there for motivation, his whole mindset is win or go home. And he's locked in because he was on a championship team. Remember, this guy was coached by Saban. Then he went to another prime school and had a great coach. He knows that Doofus McGoofus is not getting the job done correctly. And I'd be frustrated coming to work too. If I'm working at the circus and you put me in with the clown show and I'm a lion tamer, I'm like, bro, I rock lions and you got me over here with this clown. Help me out. And they're like, well, the clown.
And that's what it looked like the minute they lost to San Francisco, that's what it looked like. They looked like they said, these guys don't know what the fuck they're doing on both sides of the ball.
And to your point, because I always get on you about being negative, but honestly, it's just being realistic because I try to keep the pom-poms up as long as I can until I have to bash it. Because when I bash it, I'm gonna do it. So I try to be as positive as I can until that happens. But to begin the season, the Patriots came out and blitzed you, and you barely beat the Patriots.
Yep.
When you lost to the Jets are the ones that gave the blueprint. The 49ers just followed that blueprint because the Jets were the ones that came out and flushed him to his left and made him throw against the grain, and they got to him and they routed him. And everybody else, quote unquote, tried to do it, and that's why we were struggling, because the things you don't want to admit is that was the blueprint. Bill Belichick started off the season showing you this is how you get to the Eagles. This is how you slow them down, and everybody followed suit. Till it caught up to him.
Yep. And well, because you listen to the Marks and Reese show every day. You're an aficionado in sports radio, but it's difficult even early in the season when they were winning games, but the offense didn't look good, and maybe they were struggling a little bit, but they were still winning games, right? Like at some point, you have to just say, "Hey, they're winning games." Like I can't bitch every week. They're winning games, right? To where one thing that I remember saying a lot early, which was if you keep turning the ball over, if you keep playing uneven, if you can't run the football, if you keep giving up yards like this on defense, you're not going to beat the good teams. And then they win the first 3 games of that freaking gauntlet. We talk about the gauntlet since the schedule came out. They win the first 3 games, they go to 10-1. Like, how can I complain about that stuff? And then just like that, it's over. San Francisco happens and it's over. You remember the second half of the Bills-Eagles game. Hurts and Allen are going back and forth. Jake Elliott kicks a 59-yard field goal in the wind and the rain to get to overtime. And then Jalen sneaks in the end zone. We were the top of the world. And now look at that press conference yesterday.
I'll do anything for this city. Rain, hail, sleet, or snow. Say what? The Eagles are trained to go. I said it. Rain, hail, sleet, or snow. The Eagles are trained to go. But Jalen Hurts doesn't talk. Jalen Hurts doesn't have any communication. Jalen Hurts doesn't do anything with the. I'm like, are you not watching the stupid hype tape mix videos after every single game? You can see that this guy is in tune and in touch with his team. But guess what? I don't know. A lot of people don't be in fights. I've been in a lot of fights. Okay. I've been in like some group fights and stuff like that. And sometimes when you get whooped up and you look at your boy and you're like, yo, how come you didn't stop that dude from the spin kick in the back of my head? Well, you wasn't doing that when I was laying on the ground and got hit with a water bottle. And so everybody's annoyed because we all just got beat up. And everybody's trying to look at the other person like, why didn't you help me? And then it festers when you don't have a leader. We don't have somebody that says, hey guys, come get in the car. We'll get them next week. Don't worry about it. But when you got a guy who, he lost the team in that 49ers game, I knew for a fact because after the game, when they asked, oh, what did you say to the team? I let the team have a team meeting and the team talk to each other. So when they're 10-0 or 10-1, you talk to them after every game. When they lost to the Jets, you talk to them. You said, hey, guys, we got this and got ourselves together. When they literally got the shit kicked out of them, they were at their lowest, you walked out of the room and let millionaire grown men complain. You didn't block for me. You didn't tackle. You didn't catch. You lost them at that moment because as much as we got the BGs and the Mylatas and the Kelseys and the core guys that are sitting there holding it, most of these guys work for a paycheck and they were embarrassed and they know they have resentment for somebody else who didn't do their job that day. And it festered from there, and nobody believed in each other because that man did not corral his team. After that, it was team meeting after team meeting after team meeting. Well, what do I need you for, Nick? You're not watering these flowers. Man. You're letting them wilt and die, and there's weeds in the yard.
Yeah, one time Jaws told me that when you start having team meetings, usually it's too late, right? Like if you're on a second team meeting in the course of 2 or 3 weeks, it's over. You need to have that second team meeting. One team meeting's like, all right, like,
things
this is
should
supposed
change.
to stop it. This is supposed to stop the free fall. Once you had that second team meeting, Dunsky, adios.
And there was no reason for it because, again, you have to be the same person. Honestly, and this is why I don't like having children at press conferences. I don't like when Draymond Green has his kids up there and like, oh, so you want to shield yourself from having tough questions because you got your family up here. Or when you have a win, you have your family up here. So I still don't have to ask you questions because even though you won, you fucked up in the third quarter, right? Oh, but the kids are here. So let me just dance around it because there's children there. So now that you suck and where the kids at? Huh? Where's the family unit?
Right.
Where's your 4-year-old that doesn't want to be there, and you're making them sit there, and then you're giving them shit when they start asking about Kung Fu Panda? Oh, calm down. We're gonna watch.
And then the kid, and then idiots on social media will say something out of line about the kid, and then they become the villain. Like, oh, Sixers fans are so bad, or Warriors fans are so bad. Well, you've really created that yourself. You're just inviting the idiots to come out and do it.
Yes, your children already are the most privileged people in America. They get to see players, be on fields, be there in practices, get everything they want in the world signed and all the pictures. They don't need to sit there at your press conferences on your lap or by your side, ask for Chick-fil-A or drooling all over a mic that somebody else has to come and talk to after. And I love the kids. Black Gritty love the kids. I was at my niece's high school game tonight, basketball. I got like 6 nieces on the team. I go out one game a year. I'm out there taking all the action shots for all the kids. I love the kids, but sometimes the kids don't need to be there. So now, Nick, you got to go out here and stumble and talk about stuff you don't know. Can't answer no questions. It's embarrassing. So upset.
Well, there he is. That's Black Gritty. Well, we got a couple more minutes here doing this. Just wanted to remind everybody to subscribe. It's at John Marks Media. I do this either at 9 o'clock at night. I'm going to start doing it after games now because I tried to do it during. I was on during Embiid scoring 70. And people are obviously are watching that, not watching this live. Yeah. So we came on tonight after the game. But at John Marks Media across all platforms, subscribe. Gritty, you do a podcast on Tuesday nights. Is that correct?
Yep. Tuesday nights at 9 at Black Gritty on YouTube. It goes off on everything too. I actually had to tell Johnny Marks, I'm like, don't go up against the Giant. Take Tuesdays off. Or you could come on my show, but don't go to work on Tuesday night. I got a small audience. I'm trying to keep the 5 I got because they know me, they know you, so they gonna leave me for you, don't they?
No, so it's a good reminder because did you ask me this Tuesday to come on the show?
Yeah, you know what? I love you so much. You know what I'm gonna do for you?
What?
I'm bumping Mad Mike for you. Mad Mike wanted to be on the show this week.
Mad Mike, can we have him on as well?
That's such a dangerous. I don't know if he has another stick. He's only got one stick, so I don't know if I give him like 5 minutes to talk. I think he's going to be out of ammo. You know what I mean?
Right. You may need more than just Mad Mike.
Yeah, yeah. So,
All
yeah,
right, well, listen,
definitely have me on Tuesday.
I know. I mean, you can have me on next week, but I will not. I will not go on Tuesdays at 9. That'll be one of my 1 p.m. days.
I appreciate you. I appreciate
you. Got it. You got it. At least for now. All right. So a couple things here. I'm a little bit disappointed, Gritty, that people aren't speaking more about my appearance. I don't know if. Well, yeah. I mean, but I look terrible before. Normally, when I look as bad as I did, and then you totally get a haircut and beard and everything, then you get a lot of compliments like, "Oh man, you look great," or maybe a couple women slide into your DMs, and no, that doesn't happen. But anyway.
You're taking that. They're sliding in my DMs because I'm single. I got a lot of female followers. I'm shocked at how many women. Well, Philadelphia does have a lot of female sports people that a lot of women
they
love.
Sure do.
But you're off the market. See, I'm free as a bird, so I'm getting all DM slides.
Well, there you go. So slide into BG's DMs. All right. So I want to share the screen here because I want to for people that didn't see what I looked like before. Just absolutely horrendous. I went to Razor Bar in Collegeville. My girl Tia got it taken care of this morning. All right, so share screen. We're going to go to Instagram and share, and then I'm going to do this right here. All right, so that's before BG.
Oh, yeah, you're a wilderly beast.
Oh, terrible, right?
That retirement level.
I mean, look at that.
That's crazy. A haircut, man, that thing will make you look different.
See?
You look like 2 different people.
I look like a human now.
Is that what that is? No, that's what show is that?
What did you say? I didn't hear.
The show's on there right now. You have up on the screen the character. I forget what show that's from. But anyway, yeah.
What's happening?
What's happening? There it is. What's happening?
Yeah, subscribe to What's Happening TV show on Instagram because they put out different videos all the time. Like in this one right here, Mabel or Mama and his ex-wife Bill. So Raj's dad.
Yeah.
One of the episodes he was in. I don't know what this one was, but yeah, I love What's Happening.
Yeah, you look like a totally different person. You look like you lost like 8 pounds and grew 2 inches. Like it just slimmed you up.
I actually, because sometimes when you shave the beard and maybe you put on a couple lbs, you're like, oh, my face looks fat, right? I was actually, even though I had the one side of my face for whatever reason looks like I have like some tobacco in it or whatever, the cheek comes out a little bit more. Yeah, no, I don't think since like a month. So it's been good 2 months that I touched my beard. I shaved the beard. So.
I do my own stuff, but I need to go get my beard done so I get all pretty and leaned up. It's funny when my daughter always like, oh, your beard's so scratchy and long. And when I shave it, she gets mad. She's like, don't shave it. I'm like, well, you're yelling that it's too long and I look like a camper wildebeest. But then when she's like, yeah, just keep it in the middle. Like I can't stand you without hair on your face anymore. It looks really weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't. The last time I shaved my face was definitely the last time I shaved my face. You know what I mean? I was like, oh no, I can't do it. That's nah.
Yeah.
So maybe if I was at this weight, I could do it and it wouldn't be horrendous. But it's been so long since I've done it.
Well, it looks good. You look good.
Oh well, thank you.
You're a new person, new man.
All right, and one other thing here. So not that it honestly, dude, you'd think with me not having a job that I would have plenty of free time on my hands, but I really don't. Between doing this, I'm doing more stuff with the kids, obviously. And what else? Oh, and I've been going to the gym. How about that?
Nice.
So I've been going to the local YMCA up here, the Spring Valley YMCA, and they have classes. They have a lot of classes, a lot of different classes.
Oh, Kung Fu John.
So I'm not doing Kung Fu. I'm doing something called something called Les Mills Power Pump. And I'm trying to pull it up right now so I can read you what the description is. But it's an hour-long class too. All right, Les Mills Body Pump. It's the original barbell class, the ideal workout for anyone looking to get lean, toned, and fit fast. And then so it says like you can burn 400 calories. Instructor coaches you, blah 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 blah. So I did it on Wednesday. Yeah, I did it on Wednesday. Very sore today because it was doing. The reason why I want to do it is I'm trying to do some more cardio for my heart and for my cholesterol and for my blood sugar. So I just don't want to go and drink with the gallon of water and try to lift weights.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing the classes because I'll get on I don't do the treadmill, but I'll do like an elliptical or something like that. And does anybody else ever do this where like you're like, all right, how long have I been on? I'm not gonna look, not gonna look, not gonna look, not gonna look.
And then you look.
And it's 7 minutes in, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. Thought
So-
I was gonna say 17.
Yeah, when you do the circuit of the class, you get lost in the wave. And it's funny because I'm fun employed myself. I've been retired for the last 2 years, so I don't work. And it's funny because people are like, "Oh, don't you get bored?" I'm like, if I get bored, I go do something. Don't you get lonely? I get lonely. I hang out with somebody. The biggest problem I have is that everyone knows that I don't work, so people call me. I got a flat tire. Oh, I need I need a ride to the doctor's appointment. Like people just call me for random things. They know I'm sitting home all day, so they're always asking me to do something. That's the worst part about not having a job. Because if you had a job, nobody calls you, ask for nothing. Now everybody's like, oh, like, dude, I sleep till noon every day. I love your show, Johnny Marks. Everybody wonders why I only call in the afternoons. I don't wake up till noon. I don't go to bed till 4 or 5 o'clock. And even and you know that I'm up. I would always call
You're
you.
watching my CBS show, yeah.
I call you 5 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning because I don't sleep. So I sleep in. But yeah, when you don't have a job, people find something for you to do. I'm sure the wife's got a lot of honeydews going on over there.
But she's so busy, everylittle.detail.com. And you should shop everylittle.detail.com. And if you'd like to follow her on Instagram, it's my wife's business at shop_everylittle.detail. You can see different examples of what's out there. There's a lot of it. So she's busy doing that. I just try to they have the class from 9:15 to 10:15. So I can drop the kids off for school because I drop them off at 8:45 and then go right over, and then I can do the class and come home. So that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday, Thursday, they have it at 1 p.m. or like 1:15 to 2:15.
Can you make the kid pickup line doing that one?
Yep. Yeah. I arrive, the pickup line, I arrive at about 10 after 3 and they come out at about 3:35. So I'll be the top 4 car when I get in there and then I'll wait.
Yeah.
And then I'll pick them up.
It's a good time. It's funny. I had nothing better in life than dropping my kid off at school and then picking her up. Pro tip for parents, right? So if you're picking your kid up from school and every day you ask them, how's your day? And if you got one of those kids that just says, fine, okay, whatever, and they don't want to say anything about their day, you got to ask them what you would ask a normal person at the water cooler. You say, hey, who got in trouble in school today? Oh, Johnny got his star taken off the wall. For what? And then they just start talking.
There's a lot in there that they're not going to tell you unless you prompt them. You're right.
Yep, you got to prompt them. And you're not that you're asking for something negative, but you got to hit them with the like, so who got in trouble? So who didn't go to the playground? Did anybody get sick in school today? Like, and then they'll just start spilling the tea. But if you ask them how their day was, they hear the same question from you every day. And so they're just programming themselves to say, okay, fine, good, and going on. But if you want to talk, got to hit them with them good questions. That's a good interviewer, Johnny Marks. That's how you got to get them.
Well, there you go. All right. So again, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Subscribe at John Marks Media. Black Gritty, how do people find you? We know you have your Tuesday night podcast, but if people are saying, well, how do I follow him on Instagram or Twitter, or how do they find you, Black Gritty?
So Twitter is at Odocta, actually. It's annoying because that's my other persona. But on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, it's Black Gritty. So if you put in Black Gritty in any one of those services, you will find me. And Instagram is the most fun, where I'm doing all kinds of great stuff. But just look for your boy. I'm in these streets. I'm around.
Yep. Yeah, blackgritty.com is how you can find them too.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, I do have a website too. Yeah, Black Gritty. See, thanks. See, that's why I keep you around, Johnny Marks. I tell you what. Don't nobody do like you do. I miss you because you said my name proper, and every day I thank you because I pick up 1 or 2 followers every day thanks to John Marks Media. I appreciate you, brother.
Well, this was fun. We will do it again. And
Yes.
and by the way, in the Y class, there was women. It was all women. There's 20 people in the class. I counted. I was one of one. 19 women, and I wasn't the youngest.
Well, I was doing your workout. You sit there like this. This is just Johnny Marks with the dumbbells. Is that what you're using? Dumbbells,
barbells, and dumbbells. No, this is a. I'll have to take some video when I do it. I'll be at the class on Monday, so maybe when I join you on Tuesday, I can send it to you.
There you go,
and then you can play it for the people. And I'll take a group selfie with all the 70-year-old women that are in the class with me. Bunch of old ladies in there.
Johnny Marks like King Kong in the class. Just
Yeah, yeah. They were like, yeah, like you're in really good shape, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just not 70 years old like you guys.
That's so good.
All right, Black Gritty, thanks, man.
Thank
you. A lot
of
of fun. We'll do it again soon.
Everybody will
talk to you. Good night.